Hi and welcome. So today I want to share with you more about how emotional eating is more than just about the food and controlling the way we eat. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And I wanted to share more about emotional eating not being about the food. And part of the reason is that most women that come to me because I am a holistic nutritionist. I also work with somatic psychotherapy in my practice. But when they come to me, they think it's the diet. It's the way they eat. That's the main thing they need to really change. And so, I even thought that when I was going through this journey because I didn't know what emotional eating was really about. And as we work through the process, it becomes so much less about the food and so much more about what's going on under the emotional eating. And so this is something that, a lot of us don't connect because it's not very obvious. And so emotional eating is when we use food to soothe ourselves, to cope with any discomfort or stress, any uncomfortable emotions. And so it's a coping mechanism. It's a coping pattern. It's not actually resolving our emotions. It's not resolving our discomfort or our sadness. It's just sort of covering it up. It's this Band-Aid. And so the reason we do this is we have this association of food with our emotions. Food makes us feel good in the moment. It does physiologically. It's a distraction. And so it's this Band-Aid to what's really going on under the surface. And so, we don't necessarily connect these two together because how we sort of created emotional eating, this coping mechanism, is probably from when we were really young. And, we just started associating food with feeling good. And so when I work with clients in my program, the Emotional Eating Evolution program, of course, we go into nourishment and true nourishment and strategic digestion because what we've been told about the way we need to nourish our bodies with diet culture is, not really connecting us to our bodies. We go into body acceptance, which is important because we need certain rhythms and rituals so our body is functioning at an optimized level, because how we nourish our bodies, how, we treat our bodies does play into our moods and our emotions. But as emotional eaters, and the reason that's important is because as emotional eaters, whenever we feel any kind of discomfort or upset, we go towards food. But it's not only about how we eat and how we treat our body. It is about the emotions under the emotional eating. And I would say this is probably the most important part, because if you've been trying diet after diet and you have a lot of willpower and you're sticking to something and you're still not getting the results, you're still not seeing your emotional eating shift, it's going to be about the deeper work. And so this deeper work is really getting into the emotions under the emotional eating. And we use your emotional eating as a trigger to really find out what's going on under the surface. And honestly, a lot of the times with clients, what is under the emotional eating doesn't seem connected at all. It's not connected necessarily to food. It's not connected to body image. Usually it goes even further back. And a lot of the time it's our unmet needs. So we went through situations and we didn't process through them. So, when we're really young, as children, we need to be seen, heard, and validated. And we wouldn't have gotten that. And, having to deal with that discomfort, we turn to food. I'm just simplifying it because for each client that I've worked with, it's a particular situation or event or memory or pattern they have that distills down to that, but they need to really acknowledge what they went through. And so what we do in the program and in my process is that we work with those emotions on a somatic level with inner child work and parts work, because just being aware of it is not necessarily healing. And we may not connect an event to our emotional eating. We have to dive deeper into our subconscious. We need tools to access those. And so the body holds emotions that are unprocessed and events. And so we can access them in that way. And it is a sort of specific process to do that. And so when I work with clients privately, I can do that process with them, or they have guided meditations that they can start doing this deeper work themselves, because it's not obvious and it is nuanced. And so this is where I see clients getting the most profound shifts, because if we are trying on the surface to change our diet and the way we exercise, thinking that's going to help our emotional eating, it's not. We have to another layer, which is diving into the emotions, processing, resolving, integrating them, shifting them so that we can create a new way. When we finally meet those needs, we can create a new way of being that is not about resistance. And so this is the deeper work that's needed. It's diving into these emotions. And this is where we can say emotional eating is not about the food. A big part of it is not about the food, because when we get to this level, changing the way, we nourish our bodies and we accept our bodies becomes more effortless. This is the deeper sort of work we need to do. And it's not deep, scary, it doesn't have to be deep, scary work, because a lot of the times we don't deal with these emotions is that we weren't modeled how to feel safe around emotions, how to process them. And so through this process, you learn to feel safe in your body, safe with emotions, how to process them, how to integrate them, how to meet your needs at this deeper level. And this is where true change really happens. And you start being able to feel at ease in your body and around food. So this is really profound work, and it's important to understand that emotional eating is not about the food. Food does play a part. Our body does play a part, but our emotion and what we haven't processed, that's still living in our subconscious is really running the show. So it's important to get into those places. And once you have the process and guidance and support, it's not so complicated, let's say. So if you are in a place where you've been trying diets and exercise plans and not, moving the needle on your emotional eating, or even trying conventional therapy, because somatic work is very different to conventional therapy, this might be the missing piece for you. And so if you are ready to resolve your emotional eating, you're committed, and you'd like to see if the Emotional Eating Evolution program can support you, I would love to invite you to book in an emotional eating assessment call. So on this call, we get clear about where you're at, what your goals are, and how we can bridge that gap to help you resolve your emotional eating. So if this is resonating with you, I'd love to invite you to book in that call. Of course, if you have any questions, please leave them below, and please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. And I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.